Welcome back to the show, everyone. Here to give us all the details that we need to know. As far as high risk for breast cancer, we welcome Dr. Valentina Bonev.
Yes.
With RadNet and Breastlink.
Yes.
Such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming back to talk about this very important topic.
Thank you for having me, Bree. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Let's just dive in and talk about what is meant by high risk breast cancer.
So first off, average risk for breast cancer, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So that's around a 12% risk. So that would be average risk. High risk for breast cancer means higher than average risk. So someone who's technically over 20% lifetime risk of developing breast cancer. So we have tools that we can calculate for each woman an individualized risk, and we use their personal factors, family history, medical history to determine what their risk is. And depending on their risk, we know how to monitor them.
I see. So are you finding that there are younger and younger patients that are being diagnosed? Or do you think that that has sort of remained the same in terms of when women are actually getting breast cancer?
So the median age of diagnosis of breast cancer is 63 years old. So half of women are going to be diagnosed before 63. Mm-hmm. The other half are going to be after 63. And I'd say that we are getting younger women coming in with the breast cancer diagnosis. But in general, we're getting more breast cancer diagnoses. And one of the biggest factors is that imaging is so widespread, so specifically getting a mammogram. Also the technology compared from now to let's say 10, 20 years ago has improved. And another factor is I think that more women are aware what to look for example, a lump, something that's new that they haven't noticed, maybe nipple discharge. And hopefully women are noticing that something has changed and then going to their doctor to be evaluated.
Right, and not just thinking, oh, it's nothing, it'll go
right,
away.
Right.
I think that the topic is so widespread now. There's a lot of awareness about it. Whereas mm-hmm. probably 20 years ago it was kind of like a little more private of a mm-hmm. topic, and you weren't openly discussing it with your friends and family as we do now.
Yeah, there's more of a conversation now and an awareness, and I think that's great.
I do too, absolutely. So what should women do if they are at high risk?
So if they're high risk, we advise them to see a breast specialist so that they can be monitored appropriately. So a high risk patient is going to get breast exams twice a year, so every 6 months. They're still going to continue to get a mammogram once a year. And then we usually supplement with a breast MRI once a year as well. Another option would be breast ultrasound. So the point is we don't want patients to go a year or longer without getting a breast exam or getting some sort of breast imaging. So the point is someone is high risk for breast cancer doesn't mean that they will 100% develop breast cancer, but we know that they're high risk. So if they were to develop breast cancer, we want to detect it as early as possible. So the earlier you detect the breast cancer, it's a smaller stage, a smaller tumor, we can remove it, and oftentimes patients don't even need chemotherapy, they don't need to have a big surgery, they can have a small surgery like a lumpectomy, and patients will have an excellent prognosis and do well.
Right. So I heard on one of the videos that you were involved with, you were a guest on one of the videos with an actress who was diagnosed at 0% breast cancer. So how does that work if the machines are detecting a 0%, but yet she goes on to have surgery?
So yes, I think you're referring to stage 0 breast cancer.
Stage 0, yes.
So it is a little bit confusing, but breast cancer staging 1 through 4, 4 is metastatic. So stage 0 is cancer cells that are stuck within the breast duct. So they're within the breast, they have not spread or grown into a mass yet. They have not spread to the lymph nodes or to other parts of the body. So because technology is so improved now, okay, we can actually find on mammogram, for example, so stage 0 breast cancer is called DCIS or ductal carcinoma in situ. We can see these very tiny, they're called calcifications, so they have an abnormal pattern on mammogram, which we know how to spot them, and we're triggered to get a biopsy of it. And we're detecting cancer now so early that it's a stage 0, but that's great because now patients, again, it's so early, they have essentially 100% survival rate. They only need, in most cases, a small surgery. They don't need chemotherapy for stage 0. So we can treat patients very easily. They do very well with the treatment, and then they continue to live long lives.
And so when you say small surgery, are you referring to just extracting those cells
It's
that are compromised?
yeah. So it's lumpectomy, which is removing the cells and then a little bit of normal breast tissue around it to make sure that you're removing the cancerous area in its entirety.
Sure, yes. And so is it environmental factors that are really contributing to the high risk of breast cancer?
That's a good question, and that's something that we're still trying to figure out. I still get patients who are completely healthy and eat healthy, exercise, they don't have a family history of breast cancer, and we don't know why they get breast cancer. And then I have other families who come to me and let's say they grew up on a farm and every single person on that farm, men and women, had breast cancer. So there has to be some environmental factors. You can see clusters of not only breast cancer, maybe brain cancer you may hear on the news in like a certain area. So there is some environmental factors that we're still trying to figure out.
And do we know how to lower our risk?
So there are certain factors we can't change, like our family history, right? But there are some ways you can lower your risk. So maintaining a healthy weight, exercising regularly, limit alcohol consumption, and try to limit long-term hormone replacement therapy use. So we found through research data that women who are obese, who drink alcohol, have heavy consumption of alcohol on a regular basis, or on hormone replacement therapy for long-term, so usually like a 10-year plus, those patients are at a little bit of a higher risk than someone who doesn't have those factors. So the good thing is these are modifiable risk factors, meaning these are lifestyle changes that you can do and help to lower your risk.
Right. And why do you think, I'm sure you have a theory, it feels like, there are cancer all over the body. Of course, we all know that. But it seems like it's very targeted to the breast tissue. Why is that?
So, I mean, it may seem kind of silly or obvious, but the number one risk factor of breast cancer is being a female, right? And having that glandular breast tissue. There are actually, men can also get breast cancer,
We have had
which,
a guest on the show who
yes,
had it.
so people aren't really aware of that. It's very rare to get breast cancer, but just by being a female and having breast tissue, unfortunately, puts every woman at some risk of getting breast cancer.
Wow, such valuable information. We all need to stay on top of it.
Right.
You've one of your outlets is creative writing. So you started a blog for Breastlink?
Yes. So
Wellness blog?
Yeah, so I enjoy creative writing. It's just a way of kind of expressing myself. So of course I have the technical, portion of my brain, and then I like to have that just kind of free-flowing creativity, just as a release too.
Absolutely. Do you enjoy the creative writing?
Yes. Creative writing, journal writing, scrapbooking, all of that. It's
Kinda
also
gets it out of your head
it's
too, right?
kind of a way to unwind and de-stress.
Right. So what's the psychological effect on both the patient and members of the family when somebody is diagnosed with high-risk breast cancer?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, it definitely puts some anxiety on some patients, and then that anxiety is sometimes transferred, let's say, to siblings or, other family members. But I think it should be treated more as a tool and information that we're using, and now we know how to monitor someone closely, and by having that information, that impacts their family members, like, let's say, a sister. To be screened appropriately. So it's just all about awareness, and knowledge is power.
Absolutely. So are you seeing, is the mortality rate decreasing just because of all of these advanced technologies that we have available to us now?
So detection rate is increasing, but mortality rate is decreasing because we are able to detect cancer like stage 0 so incredibly early. Patients essentially have 100% survival rate. So luckily, with all this technology and all this early detection, patients are, surviving longer than ever.
Wonderful. That's great news. Tell us real quick, where are you located? How do our viewers find you?
So my office is in Breastlink in Orange, across from St. Joseph's Hospital. We have my breast clinic there. So I am a surgeon, but I also see patients with any type of breast complaints, where it's a lump, a cyst, nipple discharge, any sort of breast complaints, someone with family history, someone who wants to be evaluated for high risk. We also offer genetic testing to our high risk patients or our cancer patients. So that can be very helpful information. We have all of our breast imaging there, so mammogram, breast ultrasound, breast MRI, and then we have all other imaging for all types of the body, should you need it.
All inclusive. Well, thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you for
Valentina
having
Bonev.
me.
I appreciate you being here. Such important information to share with our
Thank you.
viewers. You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.